Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to solve quadratics using the quadratic formula. So to begin with, let me actually just give you the formula. So the formula is, whenever we have a quadratic, ax squared plus bx plus c, and whenever that quadratic is equal to 0, we can use the formula x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a to solve for x. Alright. So before we actually get started with some examples, there are a couple of things I just want to go over first. So you might be wondering, why should we use this really big and really confusing monstrous formula if we can just solve this quadratic via factorization? So in my opinion, there are two reasons for that. Firstly, the numbers in the quadratic can be really big, and when the numbers are really big, like if you get like 10,693 in the thing, you're not gonna find factors for that to factorize it. And sometimes they don't even factor into integers, right? So that can make it really hard. And some of you might be wondering, why does this big formula work to begin with? So in other words, you want to see a proof of the formula. If you're one of those people, I will leave a link in the description to my video where I prove this formula, and you can go check that out once you're done watching this video. So let's actually get started with some examples now to see this formula in action. So first example we have is 3x squared plus 7x is equal to 1, and we want to solve for x. So how can we do that? Firstly, we want to make sure that one side of the quadratic is equal to 0, right? So no matter what method you're using, factorization or using the formula, you want to make one side equal 0 first. So I'm going to do that by subtracting 1 from both sides. So we are left with 3x squared plus 7x minus 1 on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you have just 1 and then minus 1. They cancel each other out, so you have 0. All right. So I want you to see the similarities between this that we have and this original general one that we have here. All right. So now you just need to match up the terms. So a, let me write this down. So a is the term in front of x squared, right? So in this case, our a is 3, right? So a is equal to 3 in this case. B is in front of the x term. So in this case, b is 7, right? That's in front of the 7. No, sorry, in front of the x, so b is equal to 7. And lastly, c is like the standalone by itself without the x, right? So in this case, c is negative 1, right? So always remember the sign in front of the term is very important, right? So c, in this case, is equal to negative 1. And all of this is equal to 0. Remember that. It's very important. It has to equal to 0. So now that we've done that, we can plug these into the formula. So let me rewrite the formula for you. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So let us substitute in these values here one by one. All right. So firstly, we have negative b. So negative, what is b? b is 7, right? So we'll substitute that in. Negative 7. And then we have plus or minus the square root of b squared. So b is 7. So we have 7 squared minus 4ac. So 4 times a, which is 3, and then times c, which is negative 1. Right, so we do that, and then all of that divided by 2a. What is a? A is equal to 3, so 2 times 3, just like that. So now, let us simplify what we can. Let us just multiply out whatever we can and just simplify it. So negative 7, not much we can do with that, so negative 7 remains plus or minus the square root. Now, 7 squared is just 7 times 7, so that is 49. Right, so that is 49. And then minus 4 times 3 here. 4 times 3 is equal to 12, right? Positive 12. And positive 12 multiplied with negative 1 gives you negative 12, right? So negative 12 in there. And then all of that divided by 2 times 3, which is 6. Now we can add up the stuff inside the square root. So we have negative 7 plus or minus the square root. And over here, notice that we have a negative, right? 49 minus minus 12. So we can change that minus into a plus, right? So we can turn that into a plus. So 49 plus 12 just gives you 61, right? And of course, we just take that and divide it by 6. So that is pretty much our answer. So what this means is we have two answers for this quadratic. X can either equal to negative 7 plus the square root of 61 divided by 6, or this can equal negative 7 minus the square root of 61 divided by 6, right? So these are the two answers for this question. Easy enough, right? Now let's move on to another example. So this is our second example. We want to solve 2x plus 3 divided by x minus 2, and that is equal to negative 2. So this may not look like a quadratic at first glance, but let us actually try to solve this as if it's a normal equation, and then we'll see that we'll bump into a few problems later on, alright? So when solving equations, what are the two things we have to look out for at the start? Fractions and roots. When you see a fraction, you see a root at the start of a, when you're solving an equation, you want to get rid of them, right? So what do we have here? We have a fraction, right? We want to get rid of the fractions. How do we get rid of the fraction? We multiply by the denominator. So we multiply by x minus 2. So what that means is that let me do 2x plus 3 divided by x minus 2. So that's the same. But then we multiply by x minus 2 over here, right? Of course, we can't just multiply x minus 2 on one side. We have to do it on both sides. So 2 times x minus 2 on the right-hand side, right? Now we have to multiply out the brackets. I know it's pretty annoying, but we got to do it. So first term is 2x. We want to take that multiplied by x multiplied by negative 2 to begin with, right? Since these are double brackets, so we have to do it step by step first, all right? So 2x times x gives you 2x squared, and 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x, alright? Now you want to take this part here and multiply it by the whole bracket, right? So what we can do, we can say that is just equal to 3 times x minus 2, right? The stuff in the bracket, and then divided by x minus 2. So this is the whole point of multiplying by x minus 2, is that now that and that cancel out, right? On the right-hand side, we can just expand this like normal, so we just expand it. So negative 2 times x, that's negative 2x. And then negative 2 times negative 2 gives you positive 4, all right? So negative times negative gives you positive. Just keep that in mind. Now, we can see that this is a quadratic now, can't we, right? Because we have an x squared, we have an x term, right? So this is a quadratic. So whenever we solve quadratics, what's the first thing we have to do? Make one side equal 0. So we can do that by adding 2x and then subtracting 4 on both sides. So add 2x and then minus 4 on both sides. So over here on the left hand side, 2x squared remains the same. Here we have minus 4x and then plus 2x. So negative 4 plus 2 gives you minus 2x, right? And then over here we have 3 and then minus 4. So 3 minus 4 gives you minus 1. Alright, so we have 2x squared minus 2x and then minus 1. And that is equal to, well, negative 2x plus 2x, cancel, cancel. And then plus 4 minus 4, cancel, cancel again. right? So this is equal to 0. And that's exactly what we want, right? For one side to equal 0. So again, we just need to identify what A, B, and C are. So easy enough. A is 2, B is negative 2, right? Because negative 2, don't forget. So B is negative 2, and C is equal to negative 1, right? So C is negative 1. Now, we just use the quadratic formula. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So now we just need to substitute these values in. So negative b, so negative b. What is b? It's negative 2, right? Plus or minus the square root, b squared. So b is negative 2, right? We want to take that square, right? And then minus 4ac. So 4, a is 2, and then c is negative 1. So times 2 times negative 1, right? All over 2 times a. So it's 2 times a, which is 2 times 2. So that, okay? Now we want to simplify once again. So over here, firstly, minus minus 2, we can turn that into just positive 2, right? Plus or minus the square root. So negative 2 squared is negative 2 times negative 2. So that gives you positive 4, right? Since negative times negative gives you positive, right? And then we have minus. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times negative 1 is minus 8. So we have 4 minus negative 8 over there. And then all of that divided by 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is equal to 4. All right? We're almost there. So 2 plus or minus the square root, and over here, what do we have? We have a minus minus over here, so we can turn the minus minus into a plus, right? So we can turn that into a plus. So 4 plus 8 just gives you 12, right? So we have 12, and then all of that divided by 4. Now you could say that we're done, but actually we can simplify this one step further. So what we can do is that we can turn this 12 inside the square root, we can turn that into 4 times 3, right? So 4 times 3, and then that divided by 4. And then, since the stuff that we're multiplying inside the square root, right? Since they're positive, we can split up the square root. So that means that we can do square root of 4 and then times square root of 3. Again, that's just divided by 4. And 2 plus or minus, what's the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2, right? And we still have the square root of 3 there, and divided by 4. So now we can simplify this. We can divide the top and bottom by 2. So we divide 4 by 2, you get 2. 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. 2 divided by 2 gives you 1. So we are left with 1 plus or minus 1 times root 3. That's just root 3. And then this is divided by 2. So that is our final answer. This is what x is equal to. So again, just so that you understand a bit better, that means that x is equal to either 1 plus the square root of 3 divided by 2, or x is equal to 1 minus the square root of 3 divided by 2. So there are two solutions. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it's helped you out. Hopefully now you know how to use the quadratic formula to solve various quadratics. I'll leave some links in the description so you can go check out those videos afterwards. And thank you for watching. Have a great day.